Hey guys, Aaron here for another Body Club workout. Today's session is going to be a Pilates-based core workout. Not only will it challenge your core muscles, but it will also challenge many of the other muscles that feed into your core or your trunk region that help to stabilize your spine and your pelvis. We'll also be working postural control, mobility, and muscular endurance. So we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to start from the mat lying down onto the back. We'll just start by warming up and making sure we're engaging through the abdominals. So we're going to walk the feet forward and plant the feet flat onto the floor. And then from here we're going to lie down flat and interlock the hands behind the head. We're going to exhale and curl upwards towards the ceiling and inhale to control back down. From here I'm trying not to pull my chin too close onto my chest and crunch forwards. What I'm trying to do here is keep length through the spine. So I curl upwards, and then I'm going to exhale as I curl up. And I'm going to draw in through the abdominals. And then I'm going to keep that going. As I curl up, it's really important to have the head nice and heavy into the hands. And I can just about see my elbows within my peripheral vision. And I'm going to do 2 more reps. By now you should just about be able to feel those abdominals starting to work. Okay. I'm going to take this into a leg stretch. So now I've worked the upper abdominals. I'm going to find a neutral position for my spine. Now this is really important whether you're doing any core work, is understanding a neutral position for your spine. So we're going to go ahead and find that by arching the back up off the mat. And we're going to take the fingertips and slide them underneath the lower back. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to push my back into my fingertips. Okay? So the mat, my lower back isn't actually squished down into the floor, which pushes me into what's called a posterior tilt. I'm actually into a neutral position that works with those natural curves of the spine. So once I've found that position and I've got the back pressing into the fingertips, I'm going to go ahead and lift the legs. And then from here, I'm going to inhale and stretch one leg out and exhale and pull it back. And then alternate to the other side. So as I stretch my leg out, I'm really making sure I'm keeping pressure through my fingertips, which will really ensure you're engaging through those abdominal muscles. Okay? Inhaling to stretch, exhale back. Okay? Good. And then we're going to take a double leg stretch. So from here, I'm actually going to place my heels together and let my knees come outwards slightly. I'm going to pull my knees in a little bit closer towards me. And then I'm going to stretch forward, keeping my back pressing in towards my hands, and back. Inhaling to stretch, exhaling back. Now, if as you stretch the legs out, you feel your back arch up off your hands, then it might be a little bit much load for you at the moment. You might want to be kicking up a little bit higher because it's important we're maintaining this pressure. Alternatively, from here we can kick out and down a little bit lower and back. And just keep your back really making sure you're pressing in towards the fingertips to keep that neutral position through the spine. Last 3, 2, and the last one, and exhale, pull back, and release down. Good stuff. We're going to start to now walk the feet a little bit further forwards, reach the hands overhead. Now we're going to mobilize the spine, and with control, we're going to curl up. Before we do so, it's important that as the arms come back, we make sure we're flexing through the shoulder and that we're not flaring up through the rib cage. So if I'm tight in my shoulders, likely what's going to happen is I'm going to end up arching the back. So from here we have to really make sure that we're pushing the upper back down in towards the mat and drawing these ribs down, which will allow me to fully flex through the shoulders, and then I'll get a good stretch through the lats and pecs a little bit. And then from here I'm going to exhale And I'm going to curl up. Sitting up nice and tall, I'm looking for a straight line, fingertips, arms, through the shoulder, down to the hips. And then I'm going to exhale back and inhale to reach. Okay? Let's work through a few of these. Notice when I pull the arms over, I'm not pulling forwards. I'm actually trying to imagine my fingertips are being pulled up to the ceiling, which will provide more load for the abs as we do this one. Digging those heels down into the mat. Try not to let the feet lift off the mat. Last two. And last one. Excellent, and release. So really starting to warm up now. We're going to go into a rollover. So the legs are going to come over the head. I'm going to shuffle slightly down the mat. Make sure there's nothing behind you, so you don't want to kick it. And we're going to keep the legs straight. Similar to the previous exercise we did with the double leg stretch, if you don't feel you've got the strength to be able to maintain a neutral position and lift the legs off of the floor, then what you can do is you can work from a position where your legs are a little bit higher, okay? Keep the legs dead straight and really squeeze your inner thighs. So you're squeezing your legs together, and we're going to push down through the back of the arms. Then we're going to lift the legs up, and we're going to roll over through the spine. We're going to open the legs, a bit wider than your shoulders, roll down through your spine with control, and then circle your feet together. I'm going to go ahead and do 5 of these. Exhale over, inhale open, exhale down, keep those legs nice and straight, inhale circle together. Exhale over, inhale open. As I come down, it's important I'm not collapsing. I want to keep a little bit of space between my rib cage and my thighs. Good control. Last one. Exhale over, rolling through the spine. You should feel every vertebra of your spine connect to the floor. And then circle back together. Okay? You can take a little bit of a rest. Pull the knees in towards the chest. From here, we're going to reverse the circles. So the same position, either out straight from here or lower down if you're feeling strong. Open the legs. Notice the knees turn out and I keep the legs straight. And I exhale and roll my legs over the head. Feet together. Roll down through your spine. The lower your legs go, the harder it's going to be. Make sure you can maintain that neutral position through your spine. Exhale over. Inhale together. Exhale down and inhale lower. Last two. Whole time pushing through those arms, working the triceps as well, and down. All the way. And release. And we've got one more from a position where we're lying on the back, except this time you're going to lie back, you're going to put your palms flat, and you're going to prop yourself up onto your elbows. Then from here, once again, we're going to scoop back through the abdominals to kind of hollow out through the front of the body and press the back again into the hands. In this position, it's very important we don't sag into the shoulders. We need to lift up and out through the shoulders. So we're thinking about the posture of the upper body as we do this one. And then we can lift both legs. Same thing again. Heels together, toes slightly apart. Inhale and stretch your legs out. Exhale and pull. A modification for this one would be a single leg stretch. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And your harder option, double leg stretch. Keep the pressure with your back into your hands. So the spine now is into that little bit of flexion as we do this one.
See if you can keep that going. Pushing down through the back of the shoulders, reaching the crown of the head towards the ceiling. Last one. And release the legs down. Excellent. Spin it around. We're going to go into a low plank position. So we're going to come onto the elbows. From here, I want you to line your shoulders and your elbows and your hands up in a straight line. Okay? So we can support and stabilize through the shoulder joints. Forearms parallel. Walk your knees back. And we're coming to a position where the ear, the shoulder, and the hips fall into a straight line. We want to get a neutral position. And then from here, exhale, push down through your toes. And inhale, lower the knees. So we're exhaling to lift the knees. Quite important, guys, that we're not round through the spine here. We want to try to create length. So the crown of the head reaches forwards, and the chest reaches forwards to lengthen out the spine. Okay? Same as we lift the legs, we want to make sure we're not dipping forwards through the pelvis. Slight tuck under with the hips as we do this one. 3, 2, and one more. And release. Excellent stuff. And you can sit your backside down towards your heels. Coming up into a high plank position now. Hands underneath the shoulders. Shoulder width apart. Spread out the fingers. Stack your shoulders over your hands. And feet hip width apart on the mat. Then from here, lengthen out through your spine. Point your toes and lift one leg. Reverse breathing, so inhale as you lift and exhale to lower. 4, 5, nice long spine. 6, try not to dip through the lower back as the leg lifts, using the hamstrings and the gluteals. 2 to go. And last one. And release, and just sit your bottom back to your heels, stretch out through your fingertips and round off there into a child stretch. Couple of exercises on your side. So we're going to do a low and then a high side plank. So from here, elbow comes directly underneath the shoulder. From here, my feet are staggered, top leg in front, bottom leg behind. And I'm going to lift. And this is just a low side plank position. If it's a little bit difficult for you, you could always just drop the bottom knee. And then we'll come into a half side plank. So it's your other option, easier option. And then from here, we're going to take this top arm and I'm going to thread it underneath me. Exhale. And then pushing the hips forward and up, I'm going to inhale to look up to the fingertips. Rotating through, exhale, and back, hips forward and up. So I'm really challenging the obliques, these muscles down through the side. And then adding a bit of mobility and a little bit more oblique activation as I rotate as well. And then I'm going to do 2 more. Keep it going. Last one. And release down. Good. Okay, and then moving into a high side plank. So a similar thing. Spreading out the fingers on the mat. Important to use the whole hand to grip the mat. Otherwise we can end up putting too much pressure through the wrist. So spread out the hand on the mat. Staggered feet again. A little bit of a bend in the knees. As I go up, I'm going to go into a straight line. And then I'm going to lift higher and I'm going to bow into a side bend. Now I'm going to keep the legs and the arms straight and I'm going to lower my hips down. Also thinking about lengthening away through the crown of the head so I'm not crunched or collapsed forwards. Okay, inhale down, exhale lift. Push down through the shoulder as though we're spreading out the collarbones. 2 more. Legs stay straight, drop the hip. And last one. Excellent, and release. Well done, guys. And just roll the shoulders out, just to loosen through the shoulders. And we'll go through that sequence on the other side. Elbow directly underneath the shoulder, feet staggered, top foot in front. Lift the hips, find a straight line. Your modification, drop that bottom knee down if it's a little bit too difficult. From here, rotate that top hand through, exhale, back to the center, inhale to the top. Notice I'm keeping my hips lifted all the time. There might be a tendency to drop the hip as you come back through the center, so really keep it lifted. Really rotating as far through as you can. And one more rep. Excellent, and then down. Coming up onto the palms, spread the fingers, push down through the shoulder, stagger the feet, little bend in the knees to start with. Push up to a straight line, and then bow over that line. Hips are going to push forwards, a little bit of activity through the glutes as well, just to stabilize the pelvis. Inhale to lower and pushing down through the shoulder to lift and pushing down through the feet to lift. You don't want to be pushing down the mat, otherwise you'll end up slipping. We want to be pushing directly down into the floor to get that ground reaction force that will push us straight back up again. Last rep. And release. Excellent work, guys. Good stuff. So we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of extension through the spine, and then we'll finish off with a bit of rotation. So from here, you're going to come to lie onto your front. Toes are going to point, legs straight. So in this position, I actually want my knees lifted off the floor. Okay? So I'm active through my quads. And then I'm active through the hamstrings. And then from here, I want to very slightly tip my pelvis back. Okay, you don't need to do it excessively, but this will help to lengthen out the vertebrae of the lower back. Okay, so especially for anyone who gets really tight in their lower back, it's really important as you come into extension, we're not compressing or doing the whole lot through the lower back. We want to find length through those lumbar vertebrae, okay? And then from here, we're anchored by pushing the pubic bone into the floor. Then we can lift the head, and we create a long curve through the spine. So note, it's not the lower back doing it, it's the whole spine lengthening out. And I'm looking just beyond the end of my mat. And simultaneously then, I'm going to lift my arms. What I'm doing is I'm gliding my shoulder blades back and downward to create good squeeze between the shoulder blades, gliding the shoulder blades back. It's a really good postural exercise. And if you're feeling strong in that position, you can actually load it more by reaching the arms. And the higher you can reach them, the more you're working through your end range, the better. So as I lift, I'm going to slide my shoulder blades up, and then I'm going to slide them back down again. Keeping the tailbone tucked under. Really pulling those elbows down as I pull back. And release. Excellent work, guys. And then I'm going to come around onto my back and I'm going to finish off with some rotation. I'm going to give you two options, and we'll do both. So the arms out to the sides, push your palms down into the floor. Push the back of your shoulders as well. But if you remember from earlier, we don't want to have these ribs flaring up here. I'm not really active through these upper abdominals. If I funnel these ribs downward, I can create lots of abdominal tension, which is going to support and help me through this exercise. And then I push my shoulders back, so I'm spreading out, opening through the shoulders, so really good postural exercise too. Then I'm going to take my legs. Now I can either have them bent. The further the limbs go, the longer the lever is going to be and the more load that's going to place through the core. So from here I can actually go all the way up to straight. However, if you're tight in your hamstrings and you straighten your legs, it might tuck your hips under like this, and then you lose your neutral. So the idea is to keep the tailbone heavy on the floor with the legs straight. So you might want a little bit of bend. They might want to be straight. So you can see as I'm straightening, I'm getting a bit of a shake there. Then we're going to rotate to one side. Breathe in. And then breathe out through the center. Control. Inhale, twist. Exhale, pull. It's my hips that are twisting. My legs follow the direction of my hips rather than just throwing my legs side to side. A little bit of a modification would be to have a little bit of a bend through the knees as you do it. Shorter lever, less load through the trunk. Okay. So go ahead and do 4 more at your own length. Squeeze your inner thighs together as well. Really try and reach through the opposite arm and shoulder. Well done. And release through. And then the last one we're going to do is we're going to do half circles, so semicircles with the legs. Now, it's a similar exercise. I'm going to give you the modification first, which would be to rotate, then to circle the legs down towards the floor, and back round to the top. So we draw a circle clockwise, and then a circle counterclockwise. Now, looks easy, but actually to maintain a neutral position here with the legs lowering is actually very difficult for those lower abdominals. And if you want more of a challenge, you could do the same thing. Good shake on with my legs today. Circle round, back over the hips. Or any other length that you want to create. So work within your limitations. One more. And release. Curl up and just pull those knees in towards your chest a little bit. Good. And then just rock and sit yourself up. Well done, guys. So I would say that's somewhere between a sort of intermediate to advanced level. You've got modifications there if you would want to regress some of the exercises. So hopefully it sort of caters for all levels and all abilities.
So look forward to joining you on my next body club workout. Thanks for that today. Enjoy.